Welcome back, gamers and collectors. Today I am excited to go over my first impressions of Wanderstop. This game is going to be released on March 11th on PC via Steam and also on PlayStation 5. Great big shout out to Ivy Road for sending me a key to preview the game a little bit early. The game preview was about 2.5 hours long, and I want to share my experience with it so you can decide if it's worth picking up. In this game, you play as Alta, who you immediately find out is a fierce fighter who is undefeated. Alta suffers from her first defeat, and then she's feeling anxious, but still a little bit determined to push forward. But then she gets defeated again. And when she gets defeated that second time, she starts to spiral. I think we can all relate to that. Alta decides to embark on a journey to find a master who can train her back up. This is all happening in just the beginning scenes, and then we see her running in a forest where she starts to feel tired. Alta describes that this is a new experience for her. She is used to just pushing through the pain and the hurt and the weakness and the tiredness, but this time she just can't. Soon her sword starts to feel heavy and she's like dragging it across the forest floor, trying to keep going. Eventually she collapses, and then we meet Burrow. I love Burrow, by the way, he's super sweet. She wakes up on a bench sat next to Burrow, and she finds out that Burrow is the owner of this tea shop located in the magical forest where she's fainted. Burrow's really sweet, and he's like, hey, you're tired, let's have some tea, I'll show you how to make it. It's really therapeutic, I think this is good for you. And Alta is just annoyed. She's like, you don't know me, you don't know what's good for me, I need to get out of here, I need to keep going. She ends up having some tea with Burrow, and then she decides, I'm taking off. And at that point, she can't even lift her sword. Burrow, for some reason, can lift it just fine. But she heads back into the forest anyway, where she collapses again, and then again, Burrow brings her back to the tea shop. At this point, Burrow kindly insists that she stay at the tea shop to rest and recover, and maybe just enjoy life and slow down for a little bit until she's ready to go again. And she reluctantly says yes. From here, the main objective of the game is to make tea for the people wandering through, and also to keep checking on your sword to see if you can lift it yet and get out of there. My playthrough introduced me to two characters, Gerald and the Demon Hunter. Gerald is a wannabe knight. Well, he insists that he's a knight, but he's not really. And we find out that he has a son, and he just wants to make his son proud. It also turns out that Gerald might be cursed, and we're not really sure why or how, but he seems to think that doing push-ups will help lift the curse. The Demon Hunter is a little bit more mysterious. He doesn't want to talk to you very much until all of a sudden he wants to really get to know you. And Alta is just very reluctant to get to know him. I loved all the dialogue that you have with the characters, and you'll get opportunities to choose what you say back to those characters when you're having conversations. My favorite line that I got to select was whenever you say goodbye to Gerald, you have a few options like, okay, bye Gerald, whatever. And there's always an option that says, don't die, Gerald. In my playthrough, I learned how to breed plants so that you can get more seeds and fruit to make into teas. There's a designated area where you can plant your crops, but you really can plant them anywhere, so I'd be interested to see if people end up using that as a decorating mechanism. I had access to 2 different seeds, which gave me about 3 or 4 different fruits that I could breed. I'm assuming in the full game that we're gonna have more seeds and fruits, and that this is gonna be a bigger mechanic that we can explore. You also get a basket that you can use to gather tea leaves, which you'll then dry in your tea shop in order to make tea. Making tea is kind of a big deal. There's this whole contraption in the middle of the shop, and it's really cute and whimsical looking. Basically, you climb a ladder, you pour in your water, you bring it to a boil, you add your ingredients, and it sounds pretty standard, but the fact that you're climbing up and down this ladder and spiraling around the contraption is just really fun. Finally, you'll choose a teacup and funnel the tea into the cup. Once your tea is complete, you can serve it to the customer who asked for it, and then unlock some more story with that character. There's usually some leftover tea, and then you can use that to drink yourself, and you can find just like a cozy little spot. There's lots of little benches around the tea shop that you can sit at, and when you sit and drink tea, Each different kind of tea will give you a different cutscene that you'll get to learn more about Alta. And these cutscenes are voice acted, which is a nice touch. Besides breeding plants to make teas, you're also going to keep the tea shop area clean by weeding and sweeping up leaf piles. Sometimes when you sweep up a leaf pile, you find something unique inside, like I found a teacup, which has me wondering if there will be more teacups to collect in the game. There's also these like bird-like animals that have like a coop, but they didn't have eggs in the playthrough. I'm wondering if that's something that's going to come with the full release. I also found some mushrooms that I could forage, but I didn't try putting them into the tea or using them in any way. Oh, and there's this cute dishwasher. It's like a little waterfall and it's on like a little track, and the little track comes around and you put the teacup in and it goes up the waterfall and down the waterfall and into like this fire area where it drives off and drops off the teacup. It's really cute. I also found some areas that looked like they were planters outside of the tea shop, so I'm wondering if there's more to that. And there is a small library upstairs, which I believe is supposed to house all of the tutorials in the game, and there were maybe 2 books on the shelves and there was a lot of space, so I'm guessing there's a lot more that we'll learn about the game and be able to reference back to in these books that I just didn't get to unlock. I do want to touch on the music because I feel like it made a big impact on the atmosphere and the character building in the game. There was a moment that I was talking to Gerald the Knight, and I don't remember what he said, but all of a sudden the music just cut and it went with his dialogue. Like he was saying something and it was kind of like this awkward moment and the music just stopped. And I loved that. When it first happened, I was like, how did they do that? How did they time that? And then it happened again and I'm like, they did that on purpose, and it works so well. The music does change based on the characters that you're talking to, and there's a jukebox in the tea shop where the music changes, and I guess Bora was telling me something about there being static on some of the channels. I didn't really notice it while I was playing, but I think there are moments where it's just playing static on the radio. I find Alta so relatable. At her root, she's a perfectionist, and I think a lot of us can relate to that. But she works too hard and she has no boundaries. I am excited to see her journey though, because obviously she's being pushed into her cozy era, and a lot of us are currently in our cozy eras. So I think this is going to be a very transformative story. I also want to say that I did play this game on Steam Deck and it runs pretty well on there. I'm not huge into like, oh, frame rate drops or anything, but I didn't notice anything in my playthrough. It seemed to work really well. It has full controller support. So you can either sit at your desk and play on your computer, you can play on the Steam Deck, or obviously you're gonna be able to play on the PlayStation 5. I just like that I can play in my bed. I'm excited to play the full game. I think this is gonna be a great game and I'll be playing it for sure. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and share this video with another cozy gamer. Okay, I'm gonna give you a code word this time for the comment, so if you made it to the end of the video, put tea time in your comment below. Also, I want to hear your thoughts on the game, so comment that below and we can chat. From one collector to another, happy gaming, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!